What is up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the X's and O's podcast with Hamad and Adam. We had a podcast. It was a radio show last year called the Dynamic Show, which the name really didn't fit any sport. I don't know why. It was
Yeah.
just a thing because like we want to be dynamic. We want to like put in all the sports together, like football, basketball, everything. But we really toned down onto basketball this year with the X's and O's. X's and O's could mean a lot of stuff, but with the
Yeah.
logo, you can see it's morely basketball. Most of the stuff is basketball. But man, the trade that shook up the league just
Yeah.
happened 20, 24, literally 24 hours ago, or like
Literally, yeah.
26, which was Damian Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a three-chamber which nobody expected at all. Um, with
Right.
Phoenix and Portland inside in the trade as well. Um, but nobody expected this trade to Milwaukee. It was either Miami or nowhere.
Yeah. You mentioned it. No one expected this to happen. We kind of heard from the start of the whole process that he wanted to go to only the Heat. And literally his agent, his representative, threatened other teams saying that if you trade for Damian Lillard, and you're not the Heat, he might
Yeah,
sit out for the whole season, which is very unheard of. Um, Adam Silver was considering punishments as well. So it's
yeah.
gonna
He
get
sent
you
out
know
a memo. I think it was a couple of weeks after he requested a trade.
right,
I got it right here. July 28th.
right,
The NBA sent out a memo to teams regarding that Lillard's trade request to the Heat. It wasn't just to the Heat. It was that if you trade for Damian Lillard, he will report for you. He will report to you for training camp. Um, because of his agent Aaron Goodwin was saying that if any other team decides that he trades for Damian Lillard, he's not coming to training camp.
right,
Um, and how this built up was basically there was no talks going on all of August. The trade request happened, I think, like July 1st, somewhere around there, a couple of days after the NBA draft, where they chose to take young Scoot Henderson,
mm,
um, and didn't decide to trade that pick, which a lot of people said, oh, they might trade that pick to help Damian Lillard for the present, which they didn't do. And Damian Lillard requested trade on July 1st, and then all of July, all of August, nothing was really building up. It was just the Heat talks going around. Um, but suddenly this week, the start of this week, the 25th, uh, the report came out by the Athletic that the Raptors all of a sudden entered the
which I
bidding
thought was
process,
interesting.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and all of a sudden became favorites to land Damian Lillard. That was out of left field. Nobody thought that was going to happen. The Toronto Raptors, who are the Toronto Raptors going to trade?
they,
Pascal.
that's
They
the
can't
thing.
trade Pascal.
They also didn't want to involve Scotty Barnes in the deal, and they don't really have any guards to trade either. Pascal Siakam, he probably wouldn't want to go to a team like the Blazers, who are currently rebuilding. Maybe he'd go to another team in the East that is more in position to contend. So I don't think the Raptors really had a chance. Really, I think it was just reporting and just trying to spice things up. Like maybe the Raptors were kind of in talks, but didn't really happen that way. And this trade really um, shoots the Bucks up as championship favorites because not only do you have a guy like Damian Lillard, not only do you have Giannis, obviously a top three player in the NBA, you also kept a lot of the role players. You kept Pat Connaughton, and I know he's not a role player necessarily, but Chris Middleton as well. You kept him, Brook Lopez, who is still doing his thing, at the center position. Not only that, you also have a really good bench with Malik Beasley, Marjan Beauchamp, who's going to be really good, I think, this
Hmm.
year. Bobby Portis as well, still there. So
And
you
Alder
you have a
Jackson, who
good
they
core
drafted.
together, and what I see the Bucks doing is really trying to go for it this year. Um, there are also reports that a little bit before the Damian Lillard trade, they offered Giannis an extension, 3 years, 186 million, after he had said, if the Bucks don't surround me with talent, if we're not trying to win,
He was
we're
on a
not
media
going for
tour,
it, then I might leave.
killing the Bucks.
Say that again.
He was on a media tour. I said he was on a media tour killing the Bucks
Oh
on all
yeah, I
these
mean,
podcasts.
yeah, but no, literally, it's surrounding Giannis with as much talent as possible. Also takes
Yeah,
the pressure off of Giannis. He doesn't have to take that last shot. You have someone like Dame, who no knock on Drew Holiday, but he's not the type of guy to have that last shot capabilities. Even though he's a clutch player, but Damian Lillard is a guy who he'll take crazy shots and with confidence, as he'll make them. We've seen that before. And yeah, I just think that this trade is exactly worked out well for the Bucks. I was trying earlier today, as the Bucks are my second favorite team. My favorite team is the Knicks. The Bucks are my second favorite team. So I was trying to get a Damian Lillard jersey, the black one with the little deer antlers on the side. It was sold out immediately. Everyone in Milwaukee is buzzing about this. Also with the new head coach Adrian Griffin. His son also plays in the NBA. Adrian Griffin Jr. plays for the Hawks, but Adrian Griffin Sr., who I think also used to play in the NBA, he's now the coach of the Bucks. So I'm interested to see how they kind of steer away from that Budenholzer philosophy and see what they do with Dame and Adrian Griffin. This is a new era for the Bucks, so I'm interested to see how they can compete now with a guy like Damian Lillard, 32 points per game last year, just unbelievable. And yeah, I'm really interested.
for sure. So in this trade, just to give the details out, the Bucks got Damian Lillard and Portland got Drew Holiday, DeAndre and Kamara. I've never heard of this dude
I
ever in
feel
my
like I've
life.
heard that guy, but he's probably
Really?
just a
I don't
prospect
know.
that they threw in. Yeah.
Yeah, a 2029 first round pick, and two pick swaps from the Bucks. Phoenix got Yusuf Nurkic, Nazir Little, Keon Johnson, and Grayson Allen. Around Twitter, people are saying the Phoenix Suns might have won this trade. I could
Well,
see how people are thinking, but the Suns got off of DeAndre in. There was reports saying that the Suns and the Blazers have already had agreed on this trade a week or two prior to yesterday,
which
where
is crazy because
DeAndre Ayton,
yeah,
yeah,
because that would be
where
considered tampering according to the rules.
yeah,
So, which is yeah,
and the Suns were on that mindset that, oh, we're not going to bring DeAndre Ayton into training camp or media day, so they were really toned in on trading DeAndre Ayton, and that just means that situation that happened that was building up throughout last year, where I think in game 6, I forgot, where DeAndre Ayton didn't play at all, where
right.
team medical doctors had cleared him to play, but he himself said, "No, I'm not going to play." I think it was a rib injury or something of that sort, where
Right.
DeAndre Ayton completely did not play against the Nuggets in game 6. And they lost that game. Or did that go to 7? The Nuggets Suns series. I think it was 6. Where the
Yeah, I think it
Nuggets.
was.
Yeah, it was 6. Yeah, it was 6. So he didn't play in that closeout game. So that situation you could already see it was getting out of hand.
Right.
So this is, in my opinion, a perfect trade for the Phoenix Suns because they get a veteran presence like Yusuf
Yeah.
Nurkic, who has experience. He's been no, he actually hasn't. I was about to say he's been in Western. He was injured that season, that run, but he's been with Damian Lillard for a long time. 2014.
Exactly. That's the
Uh,
thing.
yeah,
Um,
and they get some big bench pieces and Grayson Allen and Nazir Little. Keon
yeah.
Johnson, he's a good, maybe 12th man off the bench.
Yeah.
But Grayson Allen was a huge pickup for this team. They
Exactly.
needed depth
Yeah. The Suns. I think the Suns got richer in this trade because
for sure.
you need to fill that depth if you have the star players like Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. You get a tough guy like Nurkic who is a force inside, not afraid to fight for your team, as he proved with the Blazers so many years. He had that
Mm,
crazy leg injury, but he still was able to play. I think later in that season, I might be wrong about that, but he's really just like a warrior out there. Not Golden State, but he's really a fighter out there.
yeah.
Grayson Allen again adds good bench depth as well, and I think got like Frank Vogel. We saw in the bubble how he used Alex Caruso as a kind of 3-and-D guy, athletic guy. I think Grayson Allen and Alex Caruso, ironically enough, they had that little altercation that
Yeah.
got Grayson Allen suspended. But they're very similar in style, and I think Frank Vogel can get the most out of a guy like Grayson Allen. Nas Little is a very good energy piece as well.
He's
He
a good
does
two-way,
very,
young
yeah, he does the
two-way.
little things right, intangibles, and Keon Johnson as well, just an athletic guy, good piece to have off the bench. So the Suns, they got rid of a guy who clearly didn't really want to be there. At first it was working because he's an Arizona guy. He went to
Hmm.
Arizona. When the Suns made the finals in 21, he was one of the key pieces. But then obviously Monty Williams isn't there, but he got into a little bit of an argument with Monty Williams about like his work ethic and all this stuff, and
Yeah,
they got into
it
a huge
was
fight.
literally just his character and work ethic that got him to this point. That's it.
Exactly.
He's a good player. I don't like I've seen people saying like, "Oh, Yusuf Nurkic might be better." No, in my opinion, DeAndre Ayton is way better than Yusuf Nurkic. It's just the character and his work ethic. Yusuf Nurkic is just better at that and a better fit with the Suns team than DeAndre Ayton is.
Yeah.
That's
And then
clearly why they traded him.
you look at this. You look at what the Blazers got. Obviously, they're going to try and trade Drew Holiday because he doesn't really fit the mold that
Hmm.
they're trying to have right now. He's just an older guy, and they want to build around the youth. So obviously they're going to probably try and trade him. I've heard the Sixers are interested, the Knicks are interested, and the Pacers are also interested.
Yeah,
So there's just a lot of
okay. So I'm on hoopshypes.com, right? I
yeah.
got 6 destinations. Let me know which is the best one here, right? You got the
Okay.
Boston Celtics,
Right.
Miami Heat, Brooklyn Nets, Toronto Raptors, Philadelphia 76ers, and Los Angeles Clippers. In my opinion, I think if the Sixers can somehow snag Drew Holiday, this would be a win for them and include like James Harden in this deal.
Yeah.
But at that
See,
point, you gotta make it like a 3-team or somewhere
you
because
have to make it a 3 team because I think the
they're
Clippers
not
will also want to
shipping
be
James
involved
Harden
in
to
that as well.
Portland because he's just not gonna go to Portland then.
Yeah.
Why would he just go to Portland? Yeah.
I personally want to see him on the Heat just because I think that
Hmm.
he could fit. I think he could fit that what they're looking for, and it just depends on what the Heat are gonna want to give up. Obviously, they won't want to give up a guy like Jaime Jaquez or a Nikola Jovic or any of that because he's an older guy. But I think the Heat love to take veteran players, and I think Drew
Yeah.
Holiday is a champion. He's proved he can win at the highest level. And him and Jimmy Butler, I think, would go along very well in that backcourt. I think
Hmm.
Drew Holiday already goes into that team. He's better than Kyle Lowry and those guys. So I think
You
I
would
think
probably
it's
have
a
to ship out Kyle Lowry in that deal
yeah, that's
just
what
to
I'm
max
saying.
salaries. Yeah.
But I think I would like to see him on the Heat personally. And if we look at the Blazers, in the future, I think this was inevitable and they had to do it. But
Hmm.
now you have Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, and Shaden Sharp to build around. To me that is a very good young core. But then you also had DeAndre Ayton, who I think still is a top big man in the league. He's proven
Yeah.
with his numbers and when he does have the work ethic, he can get rebounds, he can hustle, he can do all that stuff. You have Shaden Sharp, who end of last year proved to be a really good rising star. I think he's going to have a great second year. Scoot Henderson, I think he might be. I won't say he's a new Dame because in Dame's song he's like, "You can't ever replace me," all this stuff. But
Yeah.
um,
He has
but I
some
think
bars for Portland there.
yeah, but I think Scoot Henderson might be the guy. He might be the loyal Blazers guy. Everyone's gonna say,
Hmm.
"Oh, why isn't he requested trade? Why is he?" He's gonna be like, "Yeah, I want to build with these guys, whatever." Because now essentially, well, he came into the Blazers. It was Dame's team, right? Dame gets traded.
Yeah.
It's his team now. So I think he's gonna have a lot to prove, and the Blazers might be in that range as of right now, getting first picks, second picks, third picks, whatever the case may be. But I think the Bucks kind of finessed them. I thought they could have gotten a little bit more because, like Stephen A. Smith said, let me get one thing straight here. If you're on a contending team and you're giving up first round picks, it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
Um, so,
But like, what
um,
else could you have gone out of Milwaukee?
yeah, that's
Like,
the thing though, because
like what do you
what are
like
these
Pat
picks gonna mean
Connaughton?
in
Like, they're not gonna give up. They're not gonna give up key role players
yeah, that's what
in
I'm
this
yeah,
trade.
that's the thing. But it's just like, what are these? It's gonna have to come down to, because we know, me and you both know that first round picks are so valuable in this league. So it's just gonna be
Mhm.
depending on what the 2028, where the Bucks are, what the 2030 Bucks are gonna look like. We'll have to see how many championships they win.
That's a long
But yeah,
time. That's down the line. So maybe this could be like the greatest chess move ever, like greatest trade ever for the Blazers. And in my opinion, this is the best package that the Blazers could have gotten. Because what were the Heat going to offer? Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry,
yeah,
Jaime
that's
Jaquez,
the thing.
and a couple of picks.
Apparently, um, what was it? I think the Blazers, they didn't get back to the Heat. They didn't give them a chance
They
to
didn't.
make
Yeah,
that
yeah,
final
yeah.
offer.
They
Um,
didn't.
in terms of assets, I think the Heat definitely had more to give to get. But then I also heard this report that it didn't really make any sense. Apparently, the Blazers, which I don't really believe, they wanted Jimmy
Jimmy
or
or Bam.
Bam, which wasn't gonna happen. So essentially, like, now if he was going to the Heat, my ideal trade would be like, um, the Heat would give up 2 first round picks, or 3 first round picks plus Jovic and plus Jaime Hawkins, because they're going to be like, we don't want to give up Tyler Hero, but you can have some young guys who have potential, which is
Uh-huh.
Jaime Hawkins or Jovic. So it's also a case of like, teams are going to be like, and we've seen this in the past, like teams are going to be like, we want to get this player, but we don't want to give up this player. Like we want to,
Yeah.
like when the
And
Suns were going,
even if you trade, like, let's say Bam or Dame, right?
right,
Dame said before that I want to play with Bam or and Jimmy together. It's not like what is Dame gonna do just with Jimmy? Like I can't see, like, there's no way that trade was gonna happen. And
right,
like you're saying, I don't think that's true. There's no way the Blazers just like, oh, give me Bam for Dame. Like, no,
right,
I don't think that's happening. Um, the reason I think this is the best package for the Blazers is because they got DeAndre in, a great young setter
right,
who I believe this is the best situation for him, where he's going to a rebuilding team that doesn't care at all whatever he does, whatever
right.
his antics are. He just got to go out there and hoop with School Henderson and Shaden Sharp and whoever's on the court with him, just go and hoop, right?
Yeah,
And then you got Drew Holiday. With that, you can trade him because he's not going to stay on the team.
right.
They're going to trade him, whether it's right now or even like closer to trade deadline. Trade him for more pieces that can help you rebuild better, like get better later down the line. Maybe
Exactly. Yeah.
maybe the team.
I yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it definitely worked out for them in the sense that they have a guy like, oh, sorry, they have a guy like Drew Holiday who essentially, like, he does have trade value, and he might be like 30 something years old, but he has trade value because he is
Yeah,
one of the best defenders in the NBA. He's been an All Star. He was recently an All Star even. So he has the potential, and a team like the Sixers, I think, could definitely use Drew Holiday. Now, how that would work with James Harden, and I don't see a world where you have
yeah,
James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Drew Holiday on the same team. Because if Drew Holiday goes to a team, I think he should start. But um, but yeah, I
yeah.
just
Even if you trade Drew Holiday to the Sixers, James Harden has to be packaged in there.
yeah.
Either it's James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and like
But
the Sixers were
it's just
saying, we're not trading Tyrese Maxey for prime Michael Jordan, which is like the
exactly.
craziest thing I've ever heard.
And the thing
But
and the thing about the thing about this is, like, it's just nobody's talking about James Harden. Nobody's talking about what's his next destination. Where's he gonna go next? He's essentially like, oh, we're gonna trade Drew Holiday, and let's just throw in James Harden in the deal because why not? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
he's just a
it's just
throw it at
like
that point.
it's just
Yeah,
like it's just crazy how he's not really talked about that much. This guy was an MVP 5 years ago. He goes, with the new foul rules, numbers go down, goes to the Sixers, kind of doesn't perform in the playoffs, and now he's essentially like, Dame's kind of stealing his thunder a little bit, and he's more in the news
um,
of saying that Daryl Morey is.
it's
I've never played
it's
for a team that Daryl
honestly,
Morey is on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
yeah,
kind of crazy.
it's honestly all his fault. James Harden's fault.
Yeah,
He wanted to trade out of Houston. Said, "Oh, I want to go to Brooklyn. I'm not going anywhere else but Brooklyn." Gets to Brooklyn with Kyrie and KD. Honestly, yeah, Kyrie might have messed that situation up, but
Right.
Harden could have dealt with that better than he did. Honestly, he could have signed that extension. He still had KD with that extension. If him
Mhm.
and KD, and let's take Kyrie out of the picture, right? They trade
Yeah.
Kyrie. It wasn't everything worked out, and they still had KD and Harden, right?
Right.
KD and Harden by itself with some pieces are a championship contender on that Brooklyn Nets team. And
Mhm.
now, okay, so let's say, okay, they trade him to the Sixers. He gets to Philadelphia. He's playing with one of the greatest big men of our generation with Joel Embiid.
Right.
He's never played with a player or a big of that caliber. The
Yeah.
best big, maybe like Clint Capella, Dwight Howard, back in his
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
But still, he's the reason why no one's talking about him, or like or no one's willing to give him that max contract that maybe, let's say, that Kyrie got, the 3-year 120. That's the contract he was looking for, but no one was willing to give it to him because of his antics, basically.
Yeah. It's a thing that like Damian Lillard gave everything to Portland. Like
Yeah.
he unless there was an injury, he was playing every game, whether they were 52-30 or they were 30-52. You know, like it's kind of just like him. He was playing, and teams want that in their stars. You know, like there's there's a reason why the 76ers, they aren't like, well, James Harden did put in a trade request, but even if he didn't, the Sixers would still be tentative, um, to give James Harden the keys and everything, and just
Yeah.
like give him extensions and all this stuff, because he's not committed, and Damian Lillard is committed to any franchise he's playing for.
He's just a
He
baller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And even if he was asked about, oh, do you want to leave or all this stuff, he's gonna be like, no, I want to stay with Portland. And all NBA fans, we thought to ourselves, when the Blazers were kind of dwindling down, what would happen if Damian Lillard went to a contending team? But even then, when that was happening, Damian Lillard was still 10 toes down in loyalty. And I think as NBA fans, we want, since Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City, broke all of our hearts going to Golden State. We have this idea that these stars should be staying with a team their whole career. They shouldn't leave to a winning team. But it gets to a point where if an organization can't build around you, you have to, for your own sake, like go to a contending team like the Bucks or the Heat or the Sixers or whatever. You have to do it for your own sake. And Bradley Beal also, he I don't know did he put I don't remember if he put in a trade request, but
It
it was
was like a low key trade request. It wasn't like, oh, like it wasn't out there.
yeah.
I think
But
I think we got caught left guard with that Bradley Beal trade, but we
yeah.
knew it was coming because Bradley Beal
We
wasn't
knew it
going
was
to
coming
stay.
because yeah, why would yeah. And also he's on a massive contract, and like the Suns have with Matt Ispio, who's worth however much, they have the money to pay um uh Bradley Beal. So,
Mhm.
it was gonna happen anyways. But yeah, I think stars, they need to find their way out, because you know there's so many players where we say, that spent their franchise with one team or mostly one team. We say, like he was really great, but he doesn't have the rings to show for it. And Damian Lillard, he didn't want to be that guy. I think he cares about winning championships, and this is what happened. And now, the casuals won't be addressed, but the real Blazers fans will be addressed. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
see what he says in his goodbye message, because it is sad, like for as long as I've been a basketball fan, he's been on the Blazers and he's been putting up
He's
big
been loyal
numbers,
to
and
that
he's
team,
had
whatever they've
amazing
been
moments.
through.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
now he's gone, and the NBA is changing, man. And
It's crazy.
I love when they show a graphic from like 2018 and saying like all of these players are on different teams. It's just
You know what's
crazy,
the
but
best
it comes
one?
with
When
time. We're
it's
growing up.
2016. The
Yeah,
2016
like
draft, like KD's on OKC. It's kind of crazy to think about.
all those
PG's on
yeah. A lot can
Indiana.
change. Even in a year, a lot can change.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because now, like, this type of stuff never happened like 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago. Like, oh,
Exactly.
requesting a trade. This was. I'm trying to wonder who started this trend of this requesting a trade. Was it James Harden in Houston?
Maybe. Hmm.
Oh no. I think it might have been Paul George in
No,
Indiana.
I think it was Kyrie. I think Kyrie when he wanted to leave the Cavaliers, I
That
think
is true.
he because he publicly said and these players, right? They're not just like putting in trade requests and that's the end of the story. No, they're putting in trade requests and then they're just saying, yeah, they haven't built around me. Yeah, I don't want to play with LeBron. They're using their trade requests to kind of bash the other
Yeah,
team so then essentially they can just go out and wherever they want to go.
exactly. And then they're putting in destination that they want to go to. So at that point, it's just like free
Yeah.
agency. Like low key, it's free agency. Like, oh, I want to go to this team, this team, this team. And like if the GM does not trade him to those teams,
Yeah.
the GM is a bad guy at that
Do
point.
you think do you think that players are entitled to just like say, I
No,
want to go to the Miami Heat? Like, if you don't trade me to Miami Heat, like I'm just gonna sit out for the season. You still pay me all this
that's
stuff.
messed
What do you
up.
think about
That's
that?
messed up. That's messed up. Like in my opinion, you can't just withhold your contract. Like you signed a contract to stay with one team. Like in
Yeah,
free agency, you sign a 3-year, $100 million contract. After the first year, you can't say, "Oh, I'm a
and that
like X
and
out
that's
this
another thing.
contract. I want to go to this team."
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like you as the front office, you sign this guy for essentially the long run, but then he requests a
Yeah,
trade. You can't just trade him to a team. You have to trade him with the idea in mind that we signed this guy for 4 years. Like we need to get something from him because we signed this guy for 4 years and he's not going to play the 4 years. So we want to get
yeah,
something from him. And like KD, for
exactly.
example, requests a trade from the Nets, and he still has 2 or 3 years left on his contract. The Nets wanted a big haul for him, and
Yeah, that's the
I
thing. Like,
forgot
if you have a
exactly.
lot of years left, the team that signed you wants more back. Like Dame Lillard, right?
Mhm.
He had what, like 3 years? He still has 3 years left on his contract. He just signed a
Right,
contract,
right.
like one of the biggest, like last year. So
Hmm.
he has 3 years left on his contract still.
Yep.
So obviously the Blazers want stuff worth for 3 years. They don't want if it was a 1 year deal, like I'm trying to think what would be a 1 year. Like I think when Kyrie got traded, or when PG Indiana,
Right.
right? He had 1 year
Yeah.
left on his deal. He got traded to OKC. He had 1 year left on his deal. They got what? Domantas Sabonis, Victor Oladipo, and some picks. I
Yeah.
think the Indiana Pacers were fine with that because they knew that he was going to walk anyway after a year. So at least they got something back. But
Yeah.
if you have 3 years left, they want a haul that is worth for 3 years that can last 3 years, like those picks. I have another question for you.
Exactly.
You think that Joe Cronin, the GM of the Blazers, did right by Damian Lillard trading him to the Bucks?
Um, it's
Like, I mean, that wasn't his preferred destination,
listen,
but
if you're Damian Lillard, you have to look at it like this. Like I wanted to go to the Heat. I wanted to play with Jimmy. I saw that they
yeah,
were a team that is just like a hoop culture, right? But who's to say that the Bucks isn't a hoop culture? Who's to say that Giannis and Chris Middleton and those guys, Pat Connaughton, Brook Lopez, they're not working towards the 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 championship because a lot of people think, oh, the Bucks won a championship, they're coasting. No, they want more. You can tell that the playoff um,
lost to the Heat.
eliminations now since they've won the championship, they've really affected them. So
Yeah,
I think that the GM of the Blazers, he put Damian Lillard in a situation where he can win because if we're looking at it realistically, I think the Bucks, even without Damian Lillard, are closer to competing for a championship than the Heat, simply for the fact that they have Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Brook Lopez, and all those guys.
Ye-
So
yeah. Before this
even
trade, they were a top three team. Like a lot of people would say
exactly,
they were a
and this
top three
just
team. Yeah,
yeah, and this at this point, it's no excuses for the Bucks. I mean, you have, and
for sure.
we've seen sometimes where you put stars together on a team doesn't really work out. But like for the Bucks, I mean, like this is if they had Damian Lillard in that series against the Heat, I think they win that Heat series to be honest, because I don't think um I don't think the Heat would have anyone to guard uh, Dame well or Giannis well or
Yeah,
anyone. So I think this just puts them over the top. And if
The
the
thing you
Bucks,
gotta put in as well, right? Chris Middleton
yeah,
was injured that series. Giannis missed a game or two.
Giannis missed a game that
So
series, but even yeah, but even if Giannis missed a game that series or a couple games that series, Damian Lillard is there. Like Damian Lillard alone can win games for you, and um, like also with the Celtics series in 2022.
18.
No,
Oh, he's
no,
talking about 2 years ago.
2022, the year after they won the championship, Chris Middleton goes out. If you
Oh
have
yeah, yeah. They
if
lost in
you
game
have
7. I
Damian
remember. Yeah,
Lillard
yeah,
in that series, I think the Bucks win that series. I think that's the
for
type of
sure.
player he is. That's how good he is. So, I think that the Bucks won this trade. Now, I would say won this trade initially, but we're gonna have to see how they do in the regular season, and also it's gonna be judged by playoff success um, with Damian Lillard. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. I'm rooting for
Yeah,
them, obviously. I want to see Giannis win another championship. It would be cool to see Dame win a championship. I think he deserves it. And
yeah.
you know, I'm very excited.
So I got 2 more teams for Drew Holiday, right? These
Right.
are way out of left field, right? It would be
Yeah.
crazy if like any of these 2 teams trade. They're
Right.
our favorite teams. What if the Knicks trade for Drew Holiday? What if the Warriors trade for Drew Holiday? We got a 38-year-old who's on an expiring contract, who's apparently our 6th man right now, 6th man of the year CP campaign starting right now, who would be willing, to help a young team like Portland out with DeAndre Ayton, who he has experience with, and Drew Holiday, Steph Curry. That's a match made in heaven, in my opinion.
Yeah. The
Steph Curry
Warriors
is
could.
that would be
Yeah.
crazy. I'm
And
not
I
gonna
think the
lie.
Warriors, if the Blazers are in search of young prospects, I think the Warriors have enough young prospects to give up. Excuse me. I think that that even though it's kind of controversial, but I think
I'm not
Jonathan
giving up
Kuminga,
no young prospects. It's only CP.
that
I'm sorry. That's all you get it. That's all you get it. I'm
I
not giving up
mean,
Moses Moody. I'm not. I'll just stick with CP at that point. I'm not giving up
yeah,
Moses Moody, Jonathan
Modi
Kuminga.
Bougie, yeah, like
You could take who's the rookie we drafted? I forgot his name.
Brandon Podziemski,
No, not him. The center.
um,
Uh
Patrick
shoot.
Baldwin.
No. He was number. He's nice, yo.
Who was
No
this?
way I forgot.
I feel like I know who you're talking about. It's not Ryan Rollins.
Brandon is nice too. He went to Santa Cruz, right?
Santa Clara.
He's a lefty shooter, huh?
Yeah, Santa Clara. Yeah,
Santa Clara,
yeah, I've followed his career since he was at Illinois.
He's
They
nice,
transferred.
man.
He's a really good player. Yeah.
Why can I not find this guy? Oh, Trace Jackson Davis.
Yes, Trace Jackson.
Yeah,
Davis.
I'd be willing to give him up. Why not? But
they might give him up. He is an older guy, and I don't think that the Warriors
yeah,
are necessarily
he's a
gonna
more
use him that
experienced
much.
rookie.
So why not? Yeah, why not go to the Blazers?
Now let's talk about the Knicks, right?
Huh?
Would you be willing to take Drew Holiday on?
See,
the
thing
what
is,
would be the
it's
trade
like,
package though?
I don't know what the Knicks, because I wouldn't want to give up Emmanuel quickly or send. I mean, could we send Josh Hart back to the Blazers? Maybe. I don't know.
That'd be dirty. That'd be so dirty. He decided extension. He started staying with the Villanova, but he's in New York.
Maybe like I don't know. Maybe Josh
I was just
Hart.
thinking about it. You guys really don't have any like contracts that can
That's
match
the thing, and I just don't know how that would fit because like Jalen Brunson.
Because you're not giving up any of your big three, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, or Jalen Brunson. You're trying to have him.
I don't think Drew Holiday is a really shooting guard per se. It's just kind of weird how that would all fit. So I'll be interested to see what happens there. So in some other news, the Warriors Chase Center has been selected to host 2025 All-Star Weekend. This is the first time I think that I've been a basketball fan that it's been in the Bay Area.
Last time it was 99, the Vince Carter dunk contest.
Oh yeah,
I recall. That was 99, 98 or 99. What was Kobe's rookie year? 98. 98. It was 98. Yeah.
No, 97.
Kobe. 97, because Kobe got drafted in 96, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that was a rookie dunk contest, which Kobe was in. So yeah, 97 was last time it was in Oakland. That would be big.
Yeah,
have it right now.
that was back in Oracle. Now it's a
Yeah.
new arena. It's in Chase Center. I actually really like this because it's a very Bay Area. Other than the really bad parts of it, it's a nice city.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Steph Curry, if he probably will be an All Star in 2 years, he'll get a big pop. And
For sure.
it's gonna be nice. I hope they make like cool jerseys and they keep this format. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
it's been how many years since we've had it in a big city? The last big city was because this year we're having Indiana. Last year it was Utah, and
Right.
then Cleveland, and then they had it. It was supposed to be in Indiana, but it was Atlanta. It was that COVID year.
Yeah.
Oh, Chicago, 2020. They had it in a big
Chicago.
city,
Yes.
Chicago. Yeah. So I think they wanted to give some small market teams their love for a couple of years, and now they're going back to big
Yeah. Now
market
we're back
teams.
in the big market, which is cool. But it's like interesting to see how they like select it and all this stuff because, well, it's another thing, and I'm actually learning about this in class. The fact, like, when a Super Bowl gets announced for a city or when an All Star game gets announced for a city, like they have to, like, there's so many fans from different areas coming in, so they have to get like the city prepared and all this stuff. They have to make sure
For
that
sure.
they have enough infrastructure for fans and all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. And yeah, I'm excited to see um all this stuff. And yeah, Damian Lillard will be a Buck by then. And
Yeah, they will literally be a buck,
it's
unless
it's
like
just
unless he requests another trade. Giannis
I
requests a
rem-
trade,
I
and
I remember back then, like when the Bucks had like Drew Holiday or whatever. I remember they were interested in like Chris Paul, but then people were saying like, yeah, let's trade for Dame. Oh, this is never gonna happen. This is never gonna happen. Hey, and
yeah,
then I remember that old slogan that the NBA used to have. It was like NBA where amazing happens. Like this is
this is amazing.
this is amazing. I can't I
There's an
can't
old
believe.
tweet that resurfaced, right? Someone asked Dame. I think it was
Yeah,
like
I
May
remember
of
this.
2022, right? They were like,
Yeah,
if you want one superstar to help you get through the playoffs, who would it be? And he was like Giannis. So like
yeah,
everybody's like, that's kind of crazy that
yeah.
he
That's
said that because it's
wild.
finally happening.
What
Um,
do you think? What do you think his stat line's going to be in his first season with the Bucks?
I think in my opinion, he's become more of a passer rather than a
Right.
scorer because he got Giannis. He's gonna run pick and rolls with
Yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah.
He also
Exactly.
got some threats on that perimeter: Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton, Chris Middleton. Um, yeah, I think like a good 21 and
Ooh, that low?
yo, he's got Chris Middleton and Giannis. He's never
So
played
I
with this good of a team.
here's what I think. I think the Bucks are gonna score a lot of points for sure. I'm gonna go with like a 25, 26 points per game. Chris Middleton can average like 17, 18 points per game, and then Giannis can average his like 30 something points per game. Like I think, yeah, but I think his assist numbers for sure will go up because if they send a double team his way, they're gonna pass
Yeah,
it out to perimeter guys or Giannis or whatever. So I can see like 26, like 4 rebounds and 6 or 7 assists. I think that would be good.
that would. But like then Giannis, you think Dame could be an MVP candidate with the Bucks if the Bucks are like the number one seed, right?
Hmm.
Dame is killing it.
If Giannis
You
had
think,
like
you
a
think
long term injury, then for sure. But like, I don't know because he put up MVP type numbers with the Blazers, but I don't know because they didn't really consider him back then. And but again,
uh
it's also with the criteria of your team has to be a winning team and the best player on the best team and all this stuff. So maybe, but we'll have to see. I think he's gonna be an All Star um every year. Oops, I think he's gonna be an All Star every year. And um yeah, I hope he's still at the level that we know him to be. It would feel weird seeing him only average like 21 points per game. So yeah, I think he'll
yeah.
still put up numbers.
Um I think like if the Bucks like killed all the whole East, right? Or like
Hmm.
went over like 65 games, right? I could see either
Right.
Giannis or Dame being in the MVP conversation, depending on whose stats are better. I could see one of
That
them
would be
being in
really
there.
interesting. That would be really interesting. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. I want to talk about the Suns, right, for a second.
Right.
So they got Yusuf Nurkic, right?
Hmm.
An experienced center. They obviously get better than they were before because they just gave up one player for 4 players.
Right.
But are they still the number one team in the West? Because in my opinion, right,
Right.
the Lakers might be better than them because the Suns, right? Even the
Right.
Warriors could be better than the Suns. The Suns are just a bunch of star talent put on one team. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Yusuf Nurkic. Who's their four? Who's your
Josh Okogie.
Josh Okogie? Yeah, it's got it. Or they could run Grayson Allen at the 2, or I mean the 3, and move KD at the 3. I mean KD up to the 4, or they
Right.
could slide Nazir Little into that starting lineup. But do you think they could be the best team in the Western Conference?
It's gonna. I think it's gonna come down to health. I think they have the offensive firepower to. It's gonna come down to actually two things. I think it's health and defense. I think the offense is gonna
Yeah,
be there. But again, that offense comes of, who's on the court. Is Bradley Beal healthy? Even if Bradley Beal isn't healthy, I think the Suns can win games with Kevin. Like, it's just kind of like it's so improbable that all three of them are like injured and have injury problems. I think if you have even just one of those star players, I think you still win games. And then the depth pieces that they added as well. The West, you have teams like the Nuggets. No one's really talking about them to repeat. They kept the same core, and they didn't necessarily get better per se. Like, oh, like we're gonna win the championship again, but they're still there and they're still
yeah,
competing and they still have a chance to go far like they always
for
do.
sure.
You have the Mavericks, even though they didn't make the playoffs last year, with a full season of Kyrie and, with some role players that they picked up, I think maybe they could be a top 4-3 team in the West.
That is
And
true. Yeah,
the Lakers, the Lakers are a team that a lot of people forgot about this. I even forgot about this until I went on 2K today. But they picked up Gabe Vincent, who is a very solid piece, I think, for them. And D'Angelo Russell's still there. Hopefully he improves. Hopefully he gets back to his level that we know he can play
for
at.
sure.
Still have Vanderbilt. Hopefully Anthony Davis stays healthy. And then you obviously still have LeBron. And maybe we'll see a big leap from Max Christie, who, I talk to you a lot about. What a legend.
Yeah,
And Austin Reeves is still there. So,
yeah,
yeah, I just
and
think
and the other Los Angeles team, the Clippers too.
the
Fully
Clippers as
healthy
well.
PG and Kawhi, Russ, um,
Zubac.
damn, Zubac. Never mind. They're not matching up with the Suns or the Lakers in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I don't think PG and Kawhi by itself. If they get James Harden somehow, maybe.
I don't think, but the thing is, if they get James Harden, I don't think it's gonna work because it's
For
just
real,
it's just three ball dominant guys, and it's like, and
that
it's
is
how are
true.
you gonna fit that all together? And then he also is not a good defender, and they're built on defense. This team, so like, how is that
If
gonna
this
work?
doesn't
I
work out
don't
with
know.
James Harden, I'm sorry, bro. Just retire at that point. Go to China. Do what Messi
But
did in
why
soccer.
not?
Just go to
Why
China
not?
and just
Like,
dominate.
why
Exactly.
not?
Yeah. Because the NBA clearly isn't working out for you. You go to
It's
star
yeah.
teams as a
I
star
mean, look.
talent. It's
I
not
mean,
working out.
look at him. He's a top 75 NBA player of all time based on numbers
He is.
alone. But it's clear. It's clear that he doesn't really add anything. It's clear that his situation, like I think that the Rockets should have won a championship in 2018
That
when
was
they.
messed.
Yeah,
No,
I
you know
think
what messed them up? They themselves messed themselves up. I don't know if that makes sense. But 27 missed threes in a row is kind of
that's just
crazy if you
unbelievable.
think
And
about it.
that team was. Keep in mind that team. Well, even though like I think Chris Paul got injured when they were trying to clinch.
Yeah, he did. But like they were off the
But at
whole
the same
game
time, yeah.
until
At the same time, you have PJ Tucker. He's a good shooter, good spot shooter. He
yeah,
was missing threes. Chris Paul's missing threes. James Harden's missing threes. Whoever else missing threes. Like that team should have. That team was going to take down the Warriors because Kevin Durant was injured. That team was
yeah,
going to take. That team was going to take down the Warriors. And I think actually no, that was 2019 he got injured. But no, that team was going to
yeah, that
take
was
down
pretty much it. Yeah.
even with the healthy Kevin Durant. That team was going to take down the Warriors and then maybe beat the Cavs win a championship. And in 2015, they had still in his prime Dwight Howard. They still had, James Harden was still younger and he was still, going up. And you had also Patrick Beverly there. Like that team also could have won a championship, but the Warriors, Steph Curry was rising into superstar.
Yeah, they were
whatever.
just a better team in 2015. And
They
that
had
wasn't how
they
it
had
felt.
they had their chances, but they just didn't connect on them. But
Exactly.
also what we can talk about this another time. But the Rockets are rising. Like James Harden, he's like still has love for Houston for obvious reasons. But it's like
For obvious
it's just
reasons.
like he like don't bring him into that young core. They're rising up themselves. So yeah, go to China, put up 45 points per game. You can do that.
In my opinion, right now, the best option for him is just a stick in Philly. Try your best to win a chip this season. If you win a chip this season, man, you might get a big con. You might get the bag next year.
Oh
If
yeah,
you show out like how he did in Game 1 against the Celtics, right, without Joel Embiid,
Yeah.
like that was kind of crazy. Like I thought I was watching 2018 James Harden. I thought I was
but
watching
that's the thing.
2017 James
That's
Harden.
yeah, exactly.
And then later on in the series, he's disappeared. I don't know what goes on with him. Like he plays amazing some games, and in some games he just disappears completely.
Yeah, the thing about James Harden is he lost his aggression because he would get off the pick and roll and they would just pass out. Like he wasn't going
Yeah.
aggressively and he was playing scared. He was playing scared and it's like the fearless James Harden, the like casual James Harden is just so fun to watch. Not on the defensive end, but on the offensive end when he's doing these
Oh
moves
man.
effortlessly, stepping
Yeah.
back, getting threes. That was the James Harden that we all fell in love with, and now it's kind of just not there. And we'll see what happens.
Or like when he would get the quick first step on his defender and just dunk on someone. That would
exactly,
be, that was
cover his
prime
mouth
James
even though
Harden.
he didn't hit his head on the rim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was prime James Harden.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be crazy if like James Harden was just out of the league like
for
next
sure,
year.
for sure.
That would be insane to just think about. Like
Yeah.
an MVP candidate who in 2021 he was literally an MVP candidate with the Nets. He was playing so good, and now he's just out of the league. Hope that doesn't happen though, because
crazy. What a drop
when
off.
he's healthy, when he's really good, he's one of my favorite players to watch.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Yeah. So I think that's it, right? You got anything else to talk about?
No, I think we could just wait next week and more news will come out. And
yeah, media day starts on Monday. So
that's the thing. Yeah, we'll have to analyze what people say about.
Actually, media day starts tomorrow for the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. Yeah, Timberwolves, because they're going to Abu Dhabi. The first preseason game is the 5th.
How have they been preparing for media day for the basketball team at Quinnipiac?
They haven't.
Oh,
honestly, they haven't. All they've been doing is practices. They got full practices going on now. I think Tuesday was the first day. After that long weekend, they started their official practices. Like before, it was just like scrimmages, stuff like that. Now they're actually focusing on plays, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's 2-hour long practice. They start at 1:45, end at like 3:45, 4 o'clock, every single day. So it's kind of crazy how it's kind of crazy looking at the behind the scenes how they're preparing.
Give us. You don't have to give us everything, but give us.
I'm not gonna give them plays. You never know. Yeah,
but give us some. Oh yeah, that's the thing. You could if they were up by like 70 something points, they could just tell you to check in the game and give you the no name jersey.
I would
be going crazy, man, dude.
That polo and those khakis. I'm gonna have a full uniform on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and the thing is, Virginia did that. Virginia had basically a water boy, and then they just made him a D1 player. Like it's so crazy.
That would be crazy.
But
I'll go down, knock down a couple of threes. Get some scouts on me.
Come on, man. That would be crazy.
I'm gonna be in the NBA in a couple of years.
Be a legend on
campus.
Dude, and literally, and you know what the cool thing is? Is that if you were and the guy that was the manager for Virginia came in, he was from the area, and you're from the area, so essentially, like you check in the Hamden hero. Come on, man, like that would be amazing.
That would be crazy.
But before we go, give us some insight. How's the team looking this year? What do you have high
Bro,
expectations? Like, what is it
bro,
looking like?
we're looking too nice. I'm being dead serious. We're gonna win the MAC 100%.
Let's do it,
Like
man.
last year we were good. We were like really good, right? We got Coach Pecora coming in my
Yeah,
opinion, better coach than Dunleavy. A
yeah,
lot of people around the team are saying, "Oh, Pecora's a way better coach than Dunleavy,"
right.
even though Dunleavy has that background of like his brother's the GM of the Warriors. His father was like one of the best coaches ever.
Right.
So but people were like he was just too I don't know what's the word, like he was just too strict in a way. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't in tune with the team. He would just go there,
Hmm.
say some plays, and just dip.
Right.
Pecora is like in tune with the team. He wants the team to succeed. You could see it. Um, I was about to say I was about to say like give some insight. You know what? I think this team is more. This team is more like aggressive than they were last year. Way more aggressive. They're
That's
more
good.
run and gun. They want you to like get tired by minute number 2 left in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter. They want you to be gassed. So this team is
Right.
looking really good. You know, scrimmages. We got a grad from UConn, Richie
Yeah. Rich.
Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we got some returning. We got a lot of new players actually.
Yeah.
A
That's
lot of new
that's
players on
that's
this
the
team.
cool thing. You know, a lot of new players are coming in from different areas.
Yeah.
The experience is there. Also, some of the young guys are looking good. So yeah, I'm very excited, and you know, that all it takes to go to March Madness is to win that MAC tournament. And
Oh
you
man,
know,
that would be
we could have
crazy.
done it last year. We had that tough loss to Marist, but I think yeah, this year, from what you're telling me, and also from what I see from these players as well, from like highlights and stuff, I think this could be our year. And you know, we
This is
won the
honestly our best chance to win the MAC tournament, in my opinion.
yeah, and we won the national championship for hockey last year. Let's keep that winning streak going and go to the NCAA tournament. And
Oh
maybe we
man.
can be like a Fairleigh Dickinson or a UMBC, upset a 1 seed, go make a Cinderella run. You never know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because
I'm very
we
excited.
if we
Basketball
win
is
the tournament, we would probably be 15 or 16 because we are low
yeah,
major high
yeah.
D1. We're
But
not
yeah,
mid
let's
major. We're low major. So
we're mid
I
yeah.
think
But let's
Iona 13, right? You got 13.
yeah. But that's because they had a
So
good
yeah.
regular season. If we're like a 19-10 team, like we're probably gonna get a 15 seed.
All right. So I appreciate you guys watching our first episode of the X Zone podcast. Sorry, Adam had to go. He got some technical difficulties right when we were about to end it off. So I hope y'all enjoy. We got a full episode in 55 minutes. See y'all next time. Peace.